Okay, so we're talking about conditional statements. Now, can someone tell me like what are the conditional statements if someone already knows?
If, while, do while.
Okay, when you say if, while, do while, right?
If
Yeah.
And
if else,
if else, okay. Uh, Anything else apart from this?
switch,
Right. Search. Any others? Any
or
other which I'm missing? Uh, did someone said four? Okay, four. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? No. Okay.
what about for each? Does it come under?
Four each, right? Okay. Let me write it. I'll tell you under which it comes, right? So let me write four each, right? Anything else? If you are missing something, if someone can also say else, if else,
If
right? Something like this. So
Ternar-
this is
does
if.
ternary operator comes under conditional statement?
Sorry. Can you repeat that?
Ter- Ternary operator.
Yeah, yeah. Ternary operator is also a conditional operation. You're right, right? Ternary one. Although I don't remember the syntax since I don't use it, but let's. But you're right. I think that is also covered under conditional statements. Okay. Anything else? No. Okay. Let's try to see this, right? Okay. Hey, hi Sridhar. Good evening. You joined after a
Hi.
long time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay. So we are discussing today about Sridhar. We are discussing about the if I mean the conditional statements today in Java, and we are just trying to list down like what are the conditional statements, right? So people have given a lot of inputs here. So let's go one by one. Okay. First of all, when we say conditional statement, right, what does it mean? It means that maybe Java program is providing us something in which we could provide a condition, right, which can help us to make some decisions, right? So a condition, like condition, right, as the name suggests, condition is means that there is a condition. If that condition fulfills, then execute this. Otherwise, do something else. I mean, something around it, right? So it works on the based on the um, on the making a check whether that condition is met or not. Okay. So what all statements in Java helps us to achieve it. So when we talked about if else, switch, if else, right, ternary operations, so these are all counted under this. Okay. So this is right. When whoever said this, right, this is right. When we talk about this part, right, while loop and all, see, again, I'm not saying this is wrong or right, but try to understand here, right, the purpose is to repeat yourself, right? It is the purpose is that you want to loop in that. So these are like looping conditions, I mean looping statements, right? Although to work on the conditions also, right, this I mean for this looping to work, they depend on a condition, right? So I'm not saying that you answered right or wrong, but what I'll be covering here is today is when I'm saying conditional statements, I will be covering this part. Okay. I will check whether do we say while, do while, for each as a conditional statement. I think these are not covered in a conditional statement. They are covered under looping statement. Let's try to see this. Okay. Conditional statements. Conditional statements in Java. Okay. Java condition and if else. What are the four conditional statements in Java? Okay. Let me see. You can see here, right? The four conditional statements in Java are if else if later, and switch, which we just discussed, right? Even the ternary operation, right, which is like a shortcut of a if else, right? So that is also a part of it, I believe, right? What are the looping statements? Looping statements in Java. So looping statements in Java are constructs that allow you to repeatedly execute a block of code. Okay. So I think let's just segregate this into two categories only. So conditional statements are, let me now write it down. So conditional statement, you can just on a broad level, you can categorize into two things, right? One is the if else family. Okay. The variants of this could be if, only if block, or if else block, or if else if block, and else block, right? So there could be 3 or 4 types of variants of it, and but these belongs to the same family, right? And the other part is the switch block. Okay, so these comes under, and someone said about ternary operation, so that also I think comes under the if else block only. Okay, we'll talk about it, but these are the only things. So these are the only two things: switch statements and if else conditions, right? These are the two parts which will help us to perform or to write our condition statements. While loop, do while, right? Again, uh, all of these here, while, do while, for each helps us to run our piece of code repeatedly, right? But again, it also depends on a condition until when it should be running. So I think I would not say that you are wrong when you said all these under this section, but I mean, this is, but the classification within Java is that they separate it out into two different categories. That's it. But I think what you understood is correct. Okay. Now, so today our focus is that we would be understanding this part. Okay. So let's start doing this. The first part is we'll talk about the if condition, right? Now, let us think, right? Let us say that I have this linear scale, okay, and I am asking a user to feed in the age of a user. Okay, so let's say I ask that please provide me the age of a user, and based on the age of a user, I will print a value accordingly. Okay, so I will say, okay, if a person is sitting from, I mean, is of age from 0 to 18 or less than 18, right? So it is like a person is a part of 0 till 18, right? Till this part, then that person would be a child. Okay, and then I'm saying if a person is above the age of 18 until the age of 60, that person needs to be called as an adult. Okay, let's say adult. And a person who is greater than this age would be said as a senior citizen. Okay, so let's say this is my program, right? Now, uh, how can we write a program for this? Okay, now the one input is this age, right, which I would be accepting from a user. And once the user provides me an input, I just have to either print child, adult, or the senior citizen according to the value. How will I do it? Let's try to see it first without using if else. Can like what challenges we may face. So for this, right, again, I will create a magic method so that I can invoke, so that I can get the entry point to my class here, public static void main. And I will create my method. Since we already learned about how to create methods, we will use methods to write a logic here, right? So what is our logic? Find uh, print age category, right? Let's say get age category, right? So let me create a method here. Can someone tell me? Okay, so my intention is that I will accept one input from the user and I will just print that output, right? So can someone help me to write a method for it? Okay, let me give you a name. The name which I will be using is get age category. Okay, so this is my method name. Now please tell me what kind of signature I should use here. Let me ask Sangeeta. If you can help me, like what should I write here? Sangeeta, you there? Okay. Let's ask Sridhar. Sridhar joined, I mean, after a few days, right? So Sridhar, if you can help me, what should I write?
Yeah, yeah, we can start writing. Let's make a method calling. First method definition.
Mm-hmm.
Get
So
age
what?
cat method.
Uh, Please tell me, like, what should I type here?
Yeah, get age category.
Okay. Get age category. Let's say.
Age
Okay.
category.
Hmm.
Open brace and close brace, and
Hmm.
yeah. Let's now open brace and close brace.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's try to decide like how you want to call this method from main method. Under main method, try to call this method.
Now, okay, I'll give you one input. I want to accept a input of age. Where what should I do here in this method?
Yeah, you can write a data type integer. Try to write integer so that you can return
Where? Where should I write? Inside these
Before
brackets, right?
get age category, before get age category, before get age
Okay.
category,
What
try
should
to
I
write
type?
integer.
Int, right? So in
Yeah.
Java we use int, right? For the data type. Okay.
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 Now,
You're asking. So int, you are saying that as per you, right? Again. Uh, okay. You want to return something from the method, right? That's why you're giving an int.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So okay. Okay. Tell me what should I do next?
Yeah, here, right, return some value, something, some
So what
return,
should I write? What should I write?
return. Just mouse over an integer so that it will get
Okay,
small.
no worries. It would be more, I mean, understandable for everyone. So if I write written here, then what kind of value I should provide here?
Something like some variable or anything. We can do.
Something which is of entry value, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Let's say I provide 5. Let's say, okay, as a dummy value, right? Just let's say the dummy value. But okay, now tell me, like, I also wanted to accept an input to into this method. What should I do in this method now to accept that input?
So first we need to receive the formal parameter under get integer get age category. In the method, write something like integer.
Here,
Uh,
here or where?
yeah, in that only. So
In this yellow bracket, right?
yes,
So can you tell me like what should I type?
we can write some value, integer, some value, some x value or something.
So the data type of it should be what?
Index. Can you write index?
Index. Okay,
Yes.
let's say index. Okay, and just
Okay.
to make clarity, I'll add age here, right? And then
Yeah.
which I'm because I'm accepting age.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so is our method now ready, or do we need to do something more?
Yeah. Return age. Just try to instead of 5, remove that 5 and type age. So here we can start writing some logic to implement how you want to calculate age here. But before that, we need to call this method from main method. Under main method, try to call this method. Now we have prepared a method definition. Now let's write method call for under main.
Okay. So what should I type here?
Get age category.
If
Get
I
age.
use get age category as is, will it really work? Let's see.
Yeah, just write and type something, some value
5.
or
Okay, I provided. Now what? See, it is giving me an error.
oh, sorry. After this method, the line number 8 you can copy paste. Line number 8.
Okay, then it's again giving me error.
Why?
Okay, tell me one thing, right? Can you write any piece of code outside outside any method? This line number 8, right, is not inside any method. So can you
Okay.
really put this outside any method? No, right? You cannot.
No.
You cannot, right? So this is wrong. So let me first remove this. So again, a learning for everyone. If you have to write a logic, right? This is also logic, right? You're making an invocation. You're making an invocation. It's a part of a logic. It is not that you're trying to create a variable and assign a value to it. If that was the part, then you can do it. But if it is something else apart from it, then Java will not allow you. You will have to have a method where you can place this. And the right place is this main method, because main is the entry point to our program, and from here we can call whatever method we want, right? So let me just answer for Shridhar. So what I'll do is I'll put a value here. But why it is complaining right now? Shridhar, do you know?
Just mouse over there. No.
No, I don't want to. I don't know mouse over, because I will get the part right. Why it is doing? Can you tell me that? I mean, before putting a mouse on it, if you can understand like why it is returning an error now.
It shouldn't be. Maybe some syntax error, something.
No. See,
Duration.
again, the part is about the static and non-static here. Your main method is a static method, right?
Okay.
Right.
Correct.
Your main method is a static method, and you're trying to access a method which is not static.
Correct.
So, what is the way to get it? How can I call this method now? I do want to call this inside main method. So, what should I do?
Can you make it static? Static or something?
That
Yeah.
is one of the option for sure. You can do this. Once
Yeah.
you make static, you see, right, the error is gone.
Yeah.
The error is gone, which is fine. But let's say I don't want to make it static. Now, what is the option? How do you access a method of a class? What you will have to do for it? Let's say there was a class, some other class, right, which was not this, maybe something else, and you want to access a method which is sitting inside that class. How do you do it? You
Makes.
create the object of a class, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
create the instance of a class, right? So
Yes.
what I'll do here is, this is my class. I'll first create the instance of it.
Yes.
Again, you can create the instance here. Let's say d1 equals to new this, right?
Yeah.
And then what should I do to now do thing? I should
D1 dot.
d1 dot right. You're right, right?
Yeah.
And now everyone is happy. Okay. Now one last, I mean, just one update on this, right? See here, even this works fine, right? But again, everyone can see we have not provided an access modifier here. So as of now, we have not learned about access modifier. So just keep in mind that every time we're talking about this, right, a variable or a class or a method, right, we have to specify public only as of now. So this was missing. So let me put it here. So now I mark this method access modifier as public. Okay. And we'll talk about the access modifiers in a later class. But just as of now, it is public. Okay. Now let's talk about the original part which we wanted to discuss. So again, Sridhar, right, I was, what I wanted to get from this method here is I wanted to get the category, which is a string value, right, not the int is something which I am providing. So method will accept that int value, will process it somehow, and will try to find which category that person belongs to, whether it's a child, adult, or thing. So that string value needs to be written. So what changes should I bring? Okay, let me ask someone else. Let me ask Atif. Atif, can you tell me, like, I want to, you understood the question, right? So I want to return that text value, right? So what changes I should bring here, at least on the signature
Instead
part?
of int after public, you should make it string.
Okay, right. Now there is one
And
error on line 13. Yeah,
yes, so again, um, age is in type. So again,
right,
that's the reason it is showing error.
right,
So we need to create one result variable which is string here.
right. You're absolutely right.
And
Okay,
yeah,
so let me create that variable now, right? So I will say, sorry, not int, string age category, right? And let's not assign any value. We will assign a value based on a logic, but in the end, after the logic, right, age category will hold either of the three values, right? Child, adult, or the senior citizen, right? So once that logic, so where that logic will go here, right? Let's say in these, I mean, over here, right? I will add the logic. So all the logic I will put it here. Okay, but after the logic, I will be assigning a value to this age category, which is of type string, and this is what I will return from here, right?
yes,
So this is what I will do. Now why it is complaining? Because I did not initialize it. Okay, let me do it. Let me make it null. Okay,
because it's
null,
local.
again, people will not be knowing what is null is. Leave as of now, we'll talk about it. Okay, see, there are actually a lot of things in Java which will not come, I mean, straightforward on day one, right? So that's why we're trying to go very slow. But you have to keep a tab on understanding that there are a lot of things which we are not even knowing as of now. So just keep writing somewhere with yourself, right, that okay, Akhil told us this but he did not explain, right? I will explain everything, but when the right time comes. Okay, so as of now, there is something called null. I'm not explaining, leave it as of now. All right, now moving ahead. Now we are good, right? Now you can see the error is gone. As of now, the error is gone, so we are good now. Our program works fine. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to add the logic, which is the part which is missing. And since I am returning a string value, right? So the output of this would be either a child or an adult, or let's say senior citizen, SC, right? So this would be returned. So again, I want to, let's say, print here, right? At line, after making an invocation, I want to print what I am receiving. So let me ask Fizula. Fizula, can you tell me like what changes should I have here if I want to grab that value and let's say print afterwards? What should I do at line number 6 here?
Either we can just do entire thing inside a system dot out, or then
Okay, so she's suggesting to do this. Okay, so yes, I did this. Or
either this way, or we can just take the return statement inside a string and then print that result.
so can you help me with the statement? What should I type?
Yes, it's returning strings or string.
String.
Maybe any name, result,
Okay.
or each category.
Let's say result. Let's say result. Fine. And then
Yeah, and then d1 dot
d1 dot
get age category.
get age category, and we have to provide some age, right? So
Yeah.
let's say I'll provide 6 here. So as per this logic, what should I written? What should I get as an output?
Yeah, I will be getting the
Child, right?
Child.
Right. Although we have not written the logic, but that is
Yeah.
what we expect to get. And once we have received this in the result, then
Will
what?
be
If,
SOP,
what should I do?
system dot out dot print
S out
the result.
and then result here, right?
Yeah.
So now either you could do it again in a single line, or I could first store the output of this into a variable of string type. The name of the variable is result, and then I can print it, right?
Yes.
Any
yes.
confusion anyone has on this part, at least, because this is something which I'm talking about from the previous session. So nothing new from today's session, but this is again coming from the previous session. Right, everyone? So Dagar, you're fine, right?
Yes, yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, so now let's talk about this logic part. So now we have created all the placeholders, right? We created a class. So again, we learned this earlier, that why do we need this, and how to make the method invocation. We learned this also, and now we learned how to invoke a method, right? So and how to, I mean, why do we need to do this, or why we do not have to do this, right? So we learned all this, and now things would be making sense for everyone here, right? Each line should make sense, like what is that line doing. Great. Now let's talk about this logic. So if I have to, let's think about it, right? I am accepting an age, right? So I'm getting this age as an input, and what I'm saying is, if this age is let's say, what I'm saying, if I go by that linear scale, right? That if age is greater than 0, right? Right. Let me just hit here. So the condition looks like this: if age is greater than 0 and less than 18, so it is greater than 0, and somehow age is less than 18, then the output should be what? Child. This is one logic. What about the second category? They're saying if the age is greater than equal to 18 and age is less than 60, then I have to say adult, right? Adult. Now, the last part is that if age is greater than 60, I should be printing senior citizen, right? Now, how to write this logic, right? That that there is a condition which needs to be checked on this part, and only then something should be printed, right? I mean, what should I do here? If let me write here age greater than 60. Let's say I want to print what? I want to print S out. You see, it is complaining about a lot of things, right? It does not know what age greater than 60 means, right? See, again, but you have to understand, we are trying to check a condition, right, which can result into a true or false, right? So let's say I provided 6 here, right? So it received the 6 value. Now it can check, is 6 greater than 0? So in case, like, go back to your school days, right, or your college days, right, where you would be doing the comparison of one value with another, right? And if based on it, right, the output should be either true or false, right? That is what you mean by conditional statement, right? You will check a condition whether it meets that criteria or not. If it meets that criteria, you will say true. If it does not meet a criteria, you will say false, right? That is what a meaning of a condition. So, right, so again, if age is greater than 60 returns to be true, right, comes out to be true, then you have to print SC, right? But again, we do not have a way as of now to do all this logic, right? Where should I provide that condition, right? And how to provide the condition? That is where that part of if else or this switch statement will come in. So the first part which you have to understand is if else, right? So let's talk about this first. So let will not provide the solution right away. Let's go back to the drawing board over here, right? So again, this condition, right? See this condition, right? We will first talk about this. So if you remember about that modeling part, right? That flow chart which we can create to make some decision tree, right? I think it is taught in college also, but I was myself very bad on it, so I cannot recommend anyone. But let me give it a try. So we have a decision box like this, right? And on this form of triangle, and here it was accepting an input of, let's say, uh, age, right? So I provided an age as an input. It was given to a decision box and it was making a check. Is age greater than 0 and age is less than 18, right? If this is met, right? Let's say the age is 6 here. So 6 greater than 0. So it returns to be true. And operation, right? This is and operation. So and is like, if you are using an and operation, it means, let's say you have condition 1 and then you are using ampersand ampersand and you're doing condition 2, right? So and overall you need to know whether the condition overall is true or false, right? So let's talk about this and ampersand thing, right? So let's say condition 1 returned to be true and the condition returned to be true. Then we know if both are true, it is true, the overall condition is true, right? Overall is true. If you have one true and the other is false, right? So true ampersand false will result into false, not true. Okay. Similarly, one is false and the other is true, then again false. If both are false, then it is anyhow false. Okay. So remember this rule here. This is for the ampersand condition, right? Now, if we talk about OR operations, right? In case of OR, right, how we represent in our code is we use this pipe symbols. So we'll say condition 1, condition 2, and let's make a check now. Again, let's say condition 1 returned to be true and condition 2 returned to be true. Then overall is true. If what does OR operation do, right? OR operation says if either of the one condition returned true, right, then the overall condition would be treated as true, right? And that is where the difference here, right? If I write true and false here, right? So one of the conditions written out to be true, then I will consider the complete condition to be true. Okay. If this is false and this is true, then it is still true, right? If it both are false, only then in that case it will be false. So see the difference, right? In the and ampersand, which is an and operation, and this is an or operation, right? So you can see the difference. So this is fine. So these are same in both the things. So this is the part which is different, right? If either of the conditions to be false, and will consider everything to be false. But in case of or, if either of the conditions to be true, and or will consider the overall condition to be true. Okay. So we will use this concept in our Java code, right? So what we are saying is if 6 is greater than 0, which turned out to be true, ampersand 6 is less than 18. Both are the conditions are true. So overall everything returns to be true, right? And let's say our decision tree is like this. So we have this, right? Let's say this is for true path. If it returns to be true, then it will print what? It will print, let's say, child. Okay. It will print child, and then let's say it will end. If it turned out to be no, right, then it will again make a check. What is that check? It will check whether age is greater than 18, greater than equal to 18, ampersand age is less than 60. Okay. If this time it turned out to be true, then it should print what? It should print adult. And if this did not turn out to be true, right, if it not to be false, then again make a check for the last condition, which is what? Age is greater than 60. If this becomes out to be true, then print what? Print SC here, right? And let's say if it did not return out to be true, even this did not to be true, so you will ask user, please learn more about age, right? Because the age has to be greater than 0, because that is the only case it will fall into this part, right? Because if it is greater than 60, let's say even if the person says infinity, right, it is still greater than 60, so it should fall under this range. age greater than 60, right? But if, see, the only condition which we are not checking is this part, less than 0, right? Which we were not accepting, which we were not expecting user to provide, because someone's age cannot be negative. But let's say someone provided it, so we are saying, okay, please learn more about ages, and because age greater than 0, let's say that is the message we want to print. But if this condition didn't true, we want to print child, adult, and SC, right? And that is where it will end. Okay, let's say I'm not very good in this flow chart, but this is how that complete tree will become, right? Now you have to think in this way only, right? When you are trying to design a logic, right? You will first try to understand, okay, what are my boundaries, what should I do, right? And accordingly you should create your logic. How you can translate this model into an if else statement in Java? Let's talk about that part. So in Java, right, you have an option to use if else condition, which helps you to achieve that conditional thing. Okay, the syntax is this: you have to write if all small, this is all small, you will open up the braces, the brackets. Okay, I was reading some this the other day, so just for the fun part, right? Whether we use this, whether we use this, or whether we use this, right? We are into a habit of saying everything is brackets. Okay, so what we should do is this is termed as brackets. Okay, this is termed as parenthesis, right? I believe I'm saying the right thing. And this is called as square brackets. Okay, so I will myself also try to match this terminology. So here I have opened what? I have opened brackets. When I say brackets, it would be like this circular brackets, like half semicircular brackets, right? So this is the bracket. Now inside the brackets, I have to provide a condition. Okay, I have to provide a condition, and the condition can have two outputs. It can have either of the two outputs, true or false. If the condition returned out to be true, then what our code should do, right? We have to tell, let's say it turned out to be true. If it turned out to be true, then it has to do something, right? So that something which it has to do is like a logic which what you want to perform, right? If the condition is met, where do you put the logic? You will have to open up the parenthesis here. Okay, parenthesis. You open up the parenthesis and you close it here, and whatever logic you want to run, if the condition is true, you will write here. Okay, but if the condition turned out to be false, then it will skip this part here. It will not run this. Okay, if the condition is met, is false, it will not run this, and it will then go for the next condition which you may have or you may not have. Okay, but this piece of thing will only run if the condition here has written true. Only then, right? If it written false, it will not even execute this piece of code. That is the rule. Okay, that is how the if condition works. Now there are multiple variants of it, right? So this is just, let's say this is the simple block which is having only one if condition. So this is perfectly fine. It is not that if you have used if, it is compulsory to use else also. That is not the rule, right? Okay, so you can just keep using if. But let's talk about the other variant. The other variant is that if we wanted to have one condition, right? Let's say one condition, right? Condition one. If this turned out to be true, right? Then run this piece of code. Okay. If this condition did not turn out to be true, then I want to do something else. So in that case, what you should use is you should use an else statement, right? Again, open up the parenthesis. Whatever you want to do, type here, and then close this. So what is happening here is, if this condition turned out to be true, then this piece of code will be running. Okay, but if it turned out to be false, then this piece of code will be running. Now, based on the condition, if it is not true, we have a logic to run. If the condition not to be false, we have a logic to run. Okay, in both the cases, we will be able to run something. But in the earlier case, what we did was we did not include else statement. So in the case of true, it had a logic to run, but in the case of false, it did not. You did not want it to run anything after this, right? So you did not added else statement here. Okay, now the third block, let's say you want to check multiple conditions, right? Like in our case, so what you can use is you can have a third variant of it, which is like if, again you will add a condition. If it turned out to be true, then run this, right? And let's say that this is the first, that's this part, right? this part, this child thing, right? So if written out to be true, then print this. Let's say if it did not written out to be true, right? Then you want to check couple of more conditions, right? So in that case, what you should do is you should use this syntax, which is if, then you should type else, and then again type if, and then here you can type another condition, the second condition, whatever you want to run. And again, if it written out to be true, then run this. So see here, right? This condition, if it was true, it was running this, right? If it was false, right? Then what is happening is it is going ahead to check this part. Okay, it is not running the logic. It is going ahead to run this condition now, to check this condition. If this time it turned out to be true, then it will return this thing, right? And again, if it turned out to be false, it will try to go ahead. If there is something written after this, it will again follow this hierarchy. If you do not have anything after this, then it will stop here itself. But let's say you have an else statement after it, then what will happen is this false condition will run this piece of code. Okay, that is how it works. Let's try to implement this. Okay, and one last thing, when I say condition, right, it can be a single condition, it could be a complex condition which is comprising of multiple conditions within it. By clubbing them together using the AND operations, OR operations, XOR operations, or some other operation, I don't know which can happen, but we'll talk about AND and OR operations, which are the most common ones. Okay, so we will try to use them. So you can club multiple conditions together in a single if condition, and then you can run your logic based on the overall condition output. Okay, that is how it works. And you have to understand here, right? The logic will only run if this condition returns out to be true. Okay, remember that word. I will show you one fun thing in the end about this. Okay, let's start running. Let's start adding a logic. Let's start writing. So I will say if. Okay, so this is how the syntax look like. So I have to add something here, the condition here. So what is the condition? When someone will be making an invocation to this method, the person would be providing me an age, like here, right? So again, if you look back at the flow diagram, right, the condition here is this one, right? Age greater than 0 and age less than 18. So what I should type here is if age is greater than 0. Okay, so this one condition. So this is like one condition. Let me put in parenthesis. This is one condition. Okay, and now there's another condition which I want to check. Okay, and if age is less than 18, okay, then we want to run something. So I will write a logic here, right? But now we have two conditions, so we need to provide something here, right? Like what is it, an AND operation or operation? So in my case, it's an AND operation, right? So this is condition 1, which I am checking, right? And this is a condition 2. If I have provided 6 here, right, what will happen? 6 greater than 0, which is true. So this turned out to be true. So true, we got true here. And then let's say we check this 6 less than 18, again true, right? So it is like true, ampersand true. What will be the output? Ashok, what will be the output here if I provided age as 6 here?
Yeah, it's greater than 0. It's true.
It's true, right? For this part it's true, and for this part it is also true. So
True.
the overall condition would be what? True or false? True,
True.
because we are using ampersand, right?
Yeah.
And let's say if I was not using ampersand, I was using if I was using or, which is like give done like this, then what will happen? What would be the overall output?
If at least one of them is true, right? So overall output is also true.
Right, absolutely right. That is how it works, right? So again, but our need here is to use an ampersand, right? So we will use ampersand. Now, if this is met, right, what did we want it to do? We wanted to update the value of this age category as what? As child, right? Right,
Yeah.
everyone?
Yes.
So what we wanted to do was, because see, in the end, we are returning what? We are returning age category only, right? So whatever value it will have in the end would be getting thrown back, right? to the user who invoked this method. So what I'll do is I'll say age category equals to child, right?
Yes.
Anyone has any query on this? So this is how you create an if block, right? And in the first attempt itself, I've created a complex condition there. But again, I think it is okay. Otherwise, I could have also created just with a single condition also, but I think this is fine. Okay. Now there is another condition which I have to check. So let me run this actually. Let me try to run this. So what I'll do is currently let's keep it this way. Let me provide, okay, let me just comment this line. And let's say I provide 6 here, right? So what should be the output? Everyone, can you please tell me what would be the output if I am invoking this method with the value as 6? Child, right? Sudhakar, what do you think? What it should print? You're not audible.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, please. So what if I am invoking this method here with the value 6 as an input? What should I get as an output now?
Yeah, child.
Child. Okay, let's run this. Let's see this. What do we get? Okay, it is taking 9. Okay, it print child, which is fine. Now tell me if I put the value as 19. Let me ask.
No.
Okay. Okay. Since you already answered, let me just run this. Okay. Does everyone understand this? Like, okay, let me ask Rafael here. Rafael, did you answer it? Like, what should be the output here? If I'm running it with the value as 19? Null. Okay. Does anyone has a problem in understanding this part? Why null? See, 19 is being passed to this age, right? And here it is making a check. Now see here, right? See this condition here. It is saying like this. Is 19 greater than 0? Which is correct. This is true. This is true, right? 19 is greater than 0. And the second condition in which we are checking is ampersand 19 less than 18. Now this is something which is false. 19 is not less than 18, right? It is greater than 18. So what is the output here? The output is like this. So the first condition we're getting true, and for the second condition we are getting false. So overall output would be what? Overall output would be false, right? And now when false was returned as an, I mean, the false, the after the computation of this conditional statement, we're getting false as a result of it. So this piece of block will not run. That is very sure. This only runs if it would have written overall as true. So this piece of will not run. So what exactly is running? There is nothing written after this, right? There is nothing written after this. So what will happen is, so nothing is getting executed, and in the end you are just returning age category. Now when you're returning age category, what will get returned? So this line did not run, so age category was not assigned a value as a child. So what is the default value of age category? It is null, which is given at line number 17. So that is what it will attain, and it will be thrown back. Okay, that is what it will do. Okay, so let's run this. Let's see the output. Null, right? It is null. Okay, now we understood that, okay, that the logic is not complete yet, and we need to do something more, because this condition, if the value is within this range, we are getting a result. But if the value is in this category, right, we are not getting adult. We provided a value as 19, so we were expecting adult to be printed, but now it is giving me null, which is not correct. So what should I do in this case? I should use, let's say someone will come and say, Akhil, why to use else if? Just use else. Okay, let me use else, and let's try to do this. So again, if you're using only else, right, you cannot provide a condition now, right? Now what will happen is, if the above condition, if the conditions which are above the else, right? If none of them return to be true, right, then the else condition will run, which is like a false thing, right? So everything written to be false, so that's where this piece of thing will run. So in this case, again, let's say I will just print here. What did I ask you to print? I asked you, please learn more about ages. More about ages. Ages. Okay, let's say I am returning this, right? And if I now run this, right? So we are doing what? We are providing 19 as an input, and now we have to see what value, what will get printed. Okay. Let me also do one more thing. So let me write. I'm just to make you aware, right? You can see I will write here running if block. Okay, so that you know that if our code went somehow into this bracket, right, it will run this line also, and then it will also run this line. So you will see this as an output. Okay, but if somehow it did not run, so this nothing will be done here, right? And then it will go here and print this. Okay, that is what I'm trying to do here. So let's run this with a value as 19, and let's run this. You can see, right? It is saying, see, first of all, it did not printed 18, which is fine with us, right? And you can see it did not printed this line here. So it means that the R control execution code did not even go inside this, which is correct, because age is greater than 19, and that is where we were expecting. I mean, we were not expecting it to go inside this method, which it did not go. But where did it go? It went inside this else block. That is why it was able to print this line. Please learn more about ages. Now I'm wondering myself, I provided an age to be 19, right, which is a valid number, right? So in this case, it is not me who is wrong, it is the logic which is not correct, right? Because in this condition, someone can have an age as 19, and in that case I have to print adult, not this value. So how can I make a change here so that that thing can be taken care of? So what I'll do is I'll use the else if block. Okay, and in this case again you will provide the logic. Let me use this, copy this part and put inside this, open up the braces so the error can be gone, and let's modify this logic. So here we were checking from 0 to 18, and over here I will check from 18th value to less than 60 value. So if that is the case, what should I print? I should print, let me write here, adult, right? And I want to also print that I am running in if else one block. Okay, if else one block. This is the first block. Okay, now let me run this line. If I run the code now, what is the output I should get here? Let me ask Sangeeta, if you can answer. What is the output I should get here?
Senior citizen.
No, I am providing age as 19, right? So,
Okay.
so tell me, like, look at the logic here, which I've written here, and tell me, like, what is the output I should have?
Adult.
Okay, you're saying adult. Okay. Anything else? Anything else which will get printed?
The running if else block.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So you're right. So this is what it will print, right? So age category would be assigned a value as adult, and you will print. You will see this getting printed, right? So let's run this. Let's see this. So this piece will not run. This piece, this will not get assigned because this condition was met. It went inside this, and not see this thing also, right? First of all, the execution started from A, right? It checked this condition. It did not return to be true. So it did not ran this line. It moved to the next condition, which it found that your logic had that condition. So it went inside this. And this time, this condition over here in totality returned to be true. So it returned this statement. It ran this line, and then it ran this line. So we are seeing this here, right? Running if else block, and in the end you're returning that adult part which is getting printed in the main method. But you have to also understand here that after running this line, right, it did not move ahead and executed this, right? It did not go there. As soon as you get an entry to any of these blocks, right, if you went inside this, right, then rest of the things would be skipped. Okay. Similarly, if you went inside this else if, right, like in this case, you went here, right, and this is getting printed. So what will happen is the next whatever conditions you have next would be skipped. It will not be even evaluated. Okay. So these will be just skipped there. So if let's say in the you were able to execute in the first block itself, so neither of these would even be executed. So no condition check would be done or something. So the rule around if else is if you have multiple if else block, right? So what will happen in that case? If either of if any of that condition, right, if any of that block returns out to be true, right, it will go inside this, run that block, and just will skip the remaining whatever we have after this, right? Would be skipped. Nothing would be executed inside them, and the control would be moved from here. What is happening is it ran this line, then it reached to this line of the braces, and from here it skipped line number 33, 32, 33, right? It skipped all these three lines, and then the control moved out of here to line number 34. Okay, and from here there is nothing to run, and then we reach to line number 40 where it is returning age category, which has a value of what? Adult, which was done because line number 28 ran. Okay, now let's continue our operations and let's do one more last thing. Now we have a value as 19, right, which we have printed. Now let me provide a value as 60. As per our logic, what should I get as an output? Senior citizen, right? That is what my expectation is. I have not added a logic yet, right? You can see I have not added a logic yet. So if I run this line as is, let us see what will print. It is saying please learn more about ages. So it means it did not go inside this, it did not went inside this, and it just went inside this, and this got executed, and then it is printing null because this value here, right, the age category has received the value of null, which was the default value. Okay, and that is where it is printing. So what should I do to fix this? Because I wanted to print senior citizen if the age is greater than 60. Can anyone help here? Let me also ask Fizula.
Yeah, actually, we have to change that line number 32.
32. Okay.
Yeah, we just have to add age category equals senior citizen. No, it's one more line. We have to add one more line above us. Yeah, line number 32. After 31, just add one more line. Yeah.
Okay.
Age category equals senior citizen.
Age category equals
Senior citizen. I think this was what. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. If I do this, okay, let's run this now. Let's see what do we get. So I have provided 60, right? So I am definitely getting senior citizen, but you can see it is still telling me, please learn more about ages. But
Okay.
mine, right? So it means there is some mistake, still a mistake, right? How to improve on it?
We'll change line number 33 to whatever. Yeah, just
Okay. What should I do here?
you can uncomment it or write system.out.println running the else block.
So let's say I remove this. So do I need to make any modifications now into my logic?
No. It's
Okay.
else. Yeah. It's done.
Okay. So if I run this now, I will get what? Senior citizen.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now tell me one thing. If I now provide a value as -1 and I run this,
Senior citizen. We need one more else. If else.
right? So
Yeah.
let's see. You are getting senior citizen here.
Yeah, one more
Right?
negative case. Yeah.
So -1 is not a senior citizen, right? It's like a dead person.
Yeah.
So, so
That's a negative scenario, right?
right. So that's a negative scenario. So that is not covered here, right? So what should I do here?
Change the line number 31 to again else if
Right. Else if
age above 60 greater than or equal to 60, greater than equal to 60.
60.
That's red. Yeah, then this one.
Hmm.
Else
else at line number 33, right?
After 33, one more else statement. Else, just else. Yeah, and then system.out.println age. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, something you
Yeah.
provided
Okay.
previously,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'll provide it. Okay. Please
And
learn
so-
more about age. Please
Yeah, exactly.
learn more about age. Okay. So this is now we are now see this thing, right? Compare this to what we were talking about. Let me just put it here. Why it is showing two screens? Okay,
Yeah,
one
I
is
can.
here. Hey, hi, Sally this side?
Yeah, yes, I got late
Yes,
today. I was stuck
yes,
up
you
in
are
some
late
work.
today.
Yeah, I got stuck up in some work. I hope I haven't missed much.
Actually, yes, you did miss. You missed about the if else block, and I would now recommend you to watch the recording first, right? So that you can
Yeah,
get
I
the
will. I will.
understanding. Okay.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will. But I thought that we were going to start with constructors today.
You're right. This is what I said yesterday, but I
Yeah.
realized that we have not covered the conditional statements and the looping conditions. So I think starting constructor would not have been a good decision.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I moved to this conditional part. So we are today covering conditional parts, which is if else and the switch statements. So I don't know like whether we'll get time for switch, but at least we are covering the if block, if else block, and that is what we are learning. Okay. So just
Okay.
to give you a review, right? You can understand we gave a problem and said that okay, if I have to write a program that someone provides me an age as an input, and based on the input, I have to print the output like this. If the age is between 0 to 18, I need to print child. If the age is between 18 to 60, I need to print adult. If the age is between 60 to, I mean, greater than 60, I have to print senior citizen. And if I get something minus one, minus. Okay. So if there's a negative value, then I should write something here saying that please learn more about ages, right? Because the age we provided is not correct. Just a second. Who is? Oh my goodness, so many messages. Okay. So right, you understood the program, right?
Yeah, I
Sally?
understood the program. Yes.
Okay. Now this is okay. So what I am saying now is okay here. Now see this, right? If you compare the logic which we have written now, right, it is exactly matching to what we discussed here in the flow diagram. See, we are accepting age as an input, we are accepting an age as an input, right?
Yeah.
Then we are making the first check if age is greater than 0 and age is less than 18, which is this block. And if it turned out to be true, then print child. So here we are printing child, right? But if this condition did not turn out to be true, then it will skip this part. And since we have the other condition to be checked, it will go inside this. If this turned out to be true, it will run this. If it did not turn out to be true, it will again skip this part and then move next, which is here, right? Similarly, like age greater than 18 and all.
Mhm.
And the last condition, we are checking if the age is greater than 60, equal to 60, which is this part, then I have to print senior citizen, which is doing. And if none of these conditions are met, then also I want to print something, right? Because it means that someone would have provided us something, a value which is not acceptable as an age. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is where I'm trying to print this.
And
So we
in the very
Mhm.
first part, after main method, we have given int age over there. Okay. We have pulled up. Okay. 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 Yeah, that's the main method. Then we have created here the object. Okay. Okay. And then what we have done this below, we have string age category is equal to null. Why we are giving it null?
Okay. We'll talk about this. Okay. I told everyone we'll talk about
Okay.
the null.
Okay.
You have to add another thing into your diary. Null is something which Akhil did not taught, so
Okay.
we'll cover it in the future. Okay. So okay. Okay. So as of now, just understand that if what I'm saying is that by default I want to give a value to age category which I have assigned as null. Just understand that way. Null means nothing. Just let's understand that way. Okay. Null
Okay,
means
there's
nothing
just
as of
one
now.
confusion over here. After creating one main method, then this providing this null value, we have created this another main method inside this program.
No, this is one. This is the main
No.
method here, right? This is one
Yeah,
method.
yeah,
So if I collapse this is getting closed, and this is another method, right? Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
for my logic, which is to
Logic.
find the age category, as we discussed yesterday, and it is
Okay,
completing at line number 44. So this is
Okay.
all one method, which is age category method.
Yeah. So in main method, we have only done the creation of object, right?
Creation of the object of the class, right? The
Okay.
class where my method sits in, which is age category. So
Okay.
this is my method, which is sitting inside this class. So if I have to access this method, how do I do it? I have to create the instance of a class, which I'm doing at line number 5.
Yeah.
And after getting that instance, I'm doing a dot operation and then getting that
Yeah.
method and then providing an input, whatever I want to provide as an int value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.Got it. Yeah.
So this is something from yesterday's class, right?
Yeah.
But
So that's
okay,
what I was
great.
trying to relate. Yes.
Okay. So this is today's work. So any confusion anyone has on this
So we
part?
have given 3 if else's in this particular block of our class, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right, because we wanted to cover multiple conditions, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that is why we given, right?
Yeah.
Again, I will just repeat one part for you or for others also, right? Just see here, right? If you are working with if else, right, you could have multiple, based on a need, you could use multiple variants. So in, let's say, the first variant is where you have to just check the age. Let's say I give you a program that based on the gender, you will accept the gender of a person, and the gender could be male or female. That's it, right? And then if it is male, then if it is M, you have to print the gender is male. If I give you F as an input, it should print gender is female, right? So if everyone looks at it, right, you have only this condition. So this is like this. This is like this. If the value is M, then print male, right? Or if the value is female, it should print female, right? So let's say this is the condition, and the user is restricted to provide only these two inputs. It cannot provide any other input, let's say. So what you can do, you can just simply create a logic by using this one single if block, right? Sorry, not just one single, you will have to use an if else block, right? So what you will do is you will write if gender equals to male, right? Then print what? Male here, right? But if it is not male, then there is not even a need to write a condition here, right? Because the value could be either male or female only, right? So it's not that you have to write else if and then provide a condition saying, okay, is gender equals to female, right? Because the value, right, which you're trying to check here as per your logic can have only two values. If it is male, run this piece of code, this piece of block. If it is female, then you don't even need to check this, because that is where the condition will be meeting. So you have to just run this piece of block, okay, which is for the female part. Everyone is getting this part, right? In this piece of thing, you don't even have to write else if, like the second condition. You can just directly use if else. Similarly, let's say I have a condition saying that, okay, that you will accept the name of a user who is currently logged in. And if the name of the user is, let's say, Akhil, right? If the name of the user is Akhil, then in only that condition, I would be saying you are allowed to log in. Let's say you are allowed to log in, right? I want to only run this, right? I want to just print this part. If the name equals to Akhil. If I am giving any other name, I do not care. I will not even print anything. So in that condition, what I should use? Only having a if block will suffice my need. I can just add the condition here saying if name equals to Akhil, run this piece of code, right? And then we are done. If let's say someone provided here Jan, right? Name as Jan, it will return as false. So it will not run this, which is fine, because that is what my logic was. So in that condition, so in that case, what I have to use is only a single if block. If you have multiple conditions to be checked for a thing, then you will use what? If, else if, whatever based on it, right? And then if you want to have a case, if everything fails, then you should have a else block also. Okay, this is what we have learned today. Simply having a if block, simply having if else block, or having if else block, right? And you can have as many else if blocks as you need. Okay, let me just okay, one last thing which I wanted to show for today is about let me is it that screen? No, one fun thing, right, which I was saying I would mention. See this. Right, let me just collapse this method and let me just comment out everything. I don't want to run this. Now, please tell me, if I run this line, what would be the output? Okay, let me just comment. Okay, I'm fine with this. Oh, I don't need to run this also. Let's say I'm saying, tell me if I run this line, say S out, we are SDETs. Okay, we are SDETs. Now, let's say here, what value should I provide? I told you I want, see, I want to print this line. Okay, everyone, I want to print this line now, and I mean, I always want to print this line only, right? So what should I provide here as in, I mean, what kind of output should I get from this condition here? First, tell me that part. True, right?
True.
You're right. It should be a Boolean output, and it should be true, right? Only then this value over here, right, would be printed. So if I have a variable like this, let's say, like we already saw, right? If int a, let's say I assign it as 2, right? And if I provide a condition, like second int a equals 2, and if I say a greater than 2, greater than 0, so this will get printed because the condition is returning true. So in the end, you can understand that first of all, a greater than 0 is getting evaluated, and the output of it, what is the output in our case? True, right? So it is like the true value would be set in here, right? So this will be replaced and true would be placed. Okay, you getting that part? And now if this is true, right, if this is getting true, then the condition should be executed. Let's run this as is, right? Let's try to run this as is. If true, let me remove this. Let's see, will we print this or not? See, whereas states, this is getting printed. Why is this happening? If I write here, if true equals to true, again, here we are trying to check. Again, this is a condition again, right? Where you're trying to check is true equals to true, which is always true. So in the end, what you get? True. So let's run this. Let's see if it runs this or not. Again, it prints this. So I hope you're getting the point, right? The point is, in the end, whatever expression you're writing, in the end, if it translates, if the output of that condition comes out to be true, right? Comes out to be true, only then this piece of code will run, right? Whether you write yourself true here, right? In that case, what will happen? If you write true here, right? In the end, your if condition here, right, was expecting true to be given, right? True, I mean, the output of the whatever condition you could provide here, the output of that should be true only. Only then this piece of code will run, right? Now, I'm not providing the condition, I'm just providing the directly the output. I'm saying, okay, it is true. Okay. So now if it's very happy, if it's saying, okay, great, I don't have to do an extra work, you're already providing me an answer, true. So let me use it as this. So it is printing this. Okay. So that is what it is doing. So maybe in your, I'm sure you will not get this question in your interview question, right? Someone asking you something around this in your estate program or there, but maybe if you are sitting for some certifications of Java, right? There it can ask you, what this is doing, right? And you will realize, right? Most of the things which we are discussing, right, these days, right, about the internals of Java, you will not be asked in your interview process, but try to understand it is refining your thought process. Okay, and once it is refining it, it is making you better in the understanding of the logic and everything, and you will uncover all the gray areas, right, if you understand everything from that. Okay, so one last thing, if I remove this true also, will it do anything? People may think, okay, I'm leaving this, will it run? No, this will not run. This is expecting something to be given. Okay, something which can result into a Boolean output, which is what? True. If it returns to be false, this will be skipped. It will not be executed. But in the end, if something is returning to be true, this will be executed. Okay, this was the last fun type.